And welcome back, everybody, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast, and this is episode 46. Yeah, man. Let's kill that bass head. Alright, let's do this.
I'm on the air, we got this podcast flow. It's me and Tony on the mics, we gotta let you know of current events, little gaming, sprinkling some entertainment. We stay humble, but our moms still think we're famous. Turn up the bass and baby, maybe let that magic flow. Our spoken word is all the things you really wanna know. Having a good time on the show, T-Bows and Matty G. Tune in and hit subscribe and join us on the FAP.
Welcome, everybody, to the Freaking Awesome Podcast. I'm your host, and sitting virtually across from me, hot from his debut of the June centerfold of Geekly and Sex Appeal, my co-host, Matty G.
Hey, it was a fun photo shoot.
Right?
Lots of pocket protectors.
Do you get the extra fold out?
Oh, I get the extra fold out. Is that a third leg?
Yeah, well, after that operation, you said you had to take them off. Are you sure you didn't add in there?
No, just keep scrolling back. It's weird.
Yeah. You're a beautiful freak in nature, my friend.
Thank you.
So today we have a very unique guest. She is quite a talented individual who has not only done a lot of awareness for many different things that we're going to bring up throughout the show, but she was also on the production team for the 2012 Olympic Games. She has her own production company. And from the sounds of it, it is she's not only in the kind of the television and advertising industry. She's also knows a little thing or two about podcasts. Her company is 25/8 Studios. Today we have our wonderful guest, Stacey Toy. Stacey, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, everybody. I love your voices, and it was so hard to be quiet during you guys talking about the third leg. I have so many questions.
Oh, we love questions, especially if we can get Matt to blush, because that's almost impossible.
Yeah, you can't. I've never blushed. Never.
Right? I heard he puts a cowboy boot on it.
What?
Yeehaw! Oh, geez.
Right on,
All
Maddie. Lead us off with the news today.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So, first article I found, a little interesting, called Social Distancing Shoes. So, you know what they say, big feet means big distance.
Yep.
That's Grigor Loops, a cobbler from Romania, hopes after creating a pair of shoes that will help enforce the rules of social distancing during the COVID-19 pandemic. Loop, who hails from the Transylvanian city of Cluj, came up with the idea of long-nose shoes after being cooped up for 2 months in lockdown. No shit.
You couldn't. Geez, I've been to Romania and wow. Yeah. I just picture like all the people getting impaled, as far as you could see. But social distancing shoes, well, that's certainly,
we'll do the trick.
You go from Dracula to that?
Right? The shoes come in European size 75. That's it. And you should see these things. It's like a regular shoe with just a giant ass like toe area.
So could it be like a boat? Like if people in a canoe? Like, all right.
They could double as water skis.
Wait a minute. So this guy just basically invented fucking clown shoes.
Yeah, basically. Except they're super pointy and they're kind of like water skis, actually.
Wow. Well,
All right.
It's like a person. It'd probably be like the equivalent of watching like a squirrel on water skis, maybe. Like on the internet.
Right.
Or I'll just at least think that, so at least it's funny.
Oh well, here's what I guess he went to the market to buy seedlings for his garden, and this is kind of what the article reads. And he said there weren't many people there, but they kept getting closer and closer to each other. And he said he just all of a sudden he'd been a cobbler for 39 years, so he's like, oh, if people were wearing shoes and they were to face each other, they would know like, hey, if you have 3 feet and I have 3 feet, like that's 6 feet.
It's a chastity belt for like being a human. Like
This guy probably doesn't need a chastity belt. Let's be honest.
I mean, there's a lid for every pot, So
I guess so.
Wow.
So yeah, he came up with this idea, and so far he has 5 orders.
How much are they?
115 US a pair.
That's not bad considering the extra material.
Right?
Yeah, I guess.
And they're leather.
So first of all, you look like an idiot. Second of all, you're going to have a problem getting in and out of things, up escalators, up elevators, through doors, turning around corners, but you're COVID free.
Well, and the Canadian just told you that, so like,
right?
And imagine like kicking and slapping someone in the face at the same time.
Right?
Knock yourself out. Like you fall down the stairs, forget it. You impaled yourself. You're like,
you're done.
Yeah, I think you just ski down the stairs at that point.
Oh, I like that. I like that idea.
Kids, don't try this at home.
You know what? We all did this as a kid. We know exactly what that feels like. There's no happy ending to that. You're going to get hurt.
I know, but how much of that Amazon sales are going to go up right after they hear this right now?
Yeah. So
12 and under.
and kids would totally do it too. Dude, I remember being a kid, and I must have been like probably 8 or 9, and my sister and I removed a piece of the neighbor's eaves trough, hammered it out flat, turtle waxed it, and rode it down like 100-foot hill in our backyard.
I give you kudos, man. That's called making lemonade out of lemons. I don't
right.
That was a lot more effort for me. I just went down the stairs in the laundry basket.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember doing that too. That's a blast.
Yeah. And we lived, right? We lived. So
it's true. Yeah. It's true. If anything, I don't know. Maybe we were the catalyst for ridiculous shows like Jackass.
Yes, I was friends with all those guys and stuff, and when I was in college, and I haven't heard from them in a long time. But my friend, he used to co-own the Nocturnal Skate Shop with Carrie Getz, and so I used to go down and hang out with them, and yeah, they were fun. I mean, I wasn't dumb enough to do anything stupid, but I definitely stood on the sidelines and cheered them on. But
well, who was the original crew? Like, did they all grow up like Bam and Knoxville and Steve-O?
It's funny because the whole reason why I even was connected to them is because they used to, before they were famous, used to come up to the skate park that my friend owned in the Poconos up here. And they just knew each other because everybody used to just go skate park to skate park. And then, one of them ended up opening up the skate shop in South Philly with one of Bam's best friends. And Carrie's been on a bunch of episodes. He's, an Ezekiel guy, sponsored by Ezekiel, and a bunch of other ones. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool back then, but it's kind of sad, like, to see, because I mean, I'm super happy for Steve-O. Johnny Knoxville obviously did good. I've heard Bam's, back and forth, and I know he was for a while, and then obviously losing Ryan Dunn. It's just, I can't believe that stuff even happened, that most of those guys lived, like, it's just
right.
It's amazing part. Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, for sure. Craziness.
It is.
All right. So I got a quick article here, and this one, you let me know what you think. The title on this is "Man fined 500 euros for a provocative fart in front of police officers."
Oh, I got to hear this. How do you feel? If you don't laugh at fart jokes, though, like, we can't be friends. Like,
no.
Exactly.
Like, did it say fuck when it came out of his, like, what?
Depends how maybe he did. Maybe he was like, fuck.
He could throw a voice through an asshole. Oh,
let me set this thing here, and we'll see what we get. So basically said the Austrian police had forced to defend the penalty after the Ostritz newspaper revealed that a man had been punished for offending public decency on June 5th. Officers argued that the offender was uncooperative and behaving provocatively with officers leading up to the incident. They wrote on Twitter that the man had been sitting on a park bench before getting up, looking at them, and then letting go a massive intestinal rim, apparently with full intent.
Well, committed, man. I'd stand up and give him like a ovation. I know. You feel better now, don't you?
Did he make eye contact the whole time?
Well, and see, that's, I mean, I'm trying to figure out at what point or how do they define a provocative like put his finger in his mouth and look at them and go, mm-hmm.
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope so.
Where's the body cams now, like on the police? That's the body cam I want to see.
And what if this guy just had like IBS or something? What if it wasn't any intentional? Like 500 euros, like for farting?
Yeah,
like I do realize where this is, but that seems a little.
They danced hills there. I mean, come on, that was where the Sound of Music was.
It was 503 euros, by the way, because the chili dog was $3.
Oh, that was the catalyst. I think we figured it out.
Yep.
That was nature. Can you really get fined for just nature? I mean,
I know.
The same thing can happen.
Right.
That's great.
Remember the guy? It was in Africa that's fart kept away malaria carrying insects. Do you remember that guy?
Oh yeah, I do remember that actually.
And that guy is hailed a hero in his village.
Do they bottle it? Like, is that Edu Toilet?
Yeah, he's got a weird. Yeah, doesn't he have like a weird pheromone or something that he gives off?
And it clears a 2-mile radius around the village. So none of them have ever gotten malaria. And now scientists are like, well, what's in this guy's fart that's preventing mosquito or malaria carrying mosquitoes from coming in? So,
dude, what if that article was super old? We find out that DEET was from this guy.
DEET.
The whole time.
Yeah,
right.
You know, I love America. I love the news. It's just incredible. Like these, I don't even know where you would dig this stuff up, and like witnesses and in those kind of countries. Like,
oh my gosh,
it's crazy the things that come across in this world. And this one wasn't even a Florida news. So,
dude, I was totally fine with everything happening, and I was like, you know what I mean, lately, and the corona and the recent movement, and I could get behind it, but then. Apparently, I found out yesterday that they're taking Aunt Jemima off the syrup, and I just got to put my foot down somewhere.
All right. So, because you brought it up, let's talk about it very, very briefly. I don't know if this is. I would almost find it an insult. Like these are childhood classics that we
right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say anybody ever looks at Uncle Ben's or Aunt Jemima and finds that a racial thing. It's more of like. These are like heroes of our childhood. Nobody made syrup better than Aunt Jemima, right? Nobody had better rice than Uncle Ben's.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Zatarain's. I mean, like,
yeah,
I know. You know, and that's the. I hate this because I would love to say so much, especially because I have receipts from my family fought for the Union, but when they came over from Ireland. I have 23 receipts. They went down to South Carolina, actually bought slaves, kept the families together and brought them back up here and helped them to get started. And, you know, because they were totally, you know, they were no Irish need apply. So, you know, everybody was on the same team. Like, let's fight for equality. And I did the equivalent. I just picked 5 out of the 23. And it was like 8 slaves, some kids, some women, some men. And the inflation rate in 2015, it was like $50,000. Now, you know, it's like my family died, fought, you know, actually, that's why I don't have money because they like invested into other people's freedoms. And like everyone is like, oh, white privilege and this. And it's like, dude, I don't get the scholarships because I'm white. I don't get to, and I'm not offended, you know, I just literally don't see color, and people say that's the problem, and I'm like, to be honest, I think racism might be dead if people didn't keep it alive as much as they do, and that's very controversial, and I'm not racist at all, but I just, if we're going to be equal, the same with men and women, like the Me Too's, if we're going to be equal, you better start acting like it and not just like burning your own shit and like you're acting like a bunch of kids.
No, I totally agree. It's funny. Tony and I try to stay away from the political stuff often. And my thing is though, and I just had this conversation. It was funny. I was in line to get a haircut, and this I found out, right. And a buddy of mine just happened to be there, and he mentioned, and I'm like, come on, like the thing is that we can't erase history,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
But we shouldn't